of YouTube. My name's jamespfp. This is the Banjocast. Pitchforks and flaming torches. And for the musical selection, no video. My old banjo. That's my old one.
The old paintings, they are on that tune to do the sand dance. Don't you know? If they move too
I got something different for after this.
I'm
I'm gonna be getting back to work in Blender very soon. Can I get through in one take? Hey, never.
All the old paintings, they are on the tune do the sand dance. Don't you know?
Hey.
If they move too quick, below, they'll be falling down like a domino. Lot of buzz on men now about them now. They got the money, all of it. Old crocodiles below, and snap the teeth on your cigarette. Foreign tops with a hoo-ha.
I gotta make a quick change here before I start.
Egyptian, walk like an Egyptian. Fun waitresses, they can take their trays and spin around, and they'll cross the floor. They got the moves well low, if you drop your drink, man, they'll come and bring you more. A lot of school kids, they're so sick of books, they like the punk and the metal band. With the
boozer rings, they go away, yo.
They'll be walking out like a gypsy. All the kids in the marketplace singing away, oh, way, oh, way, oh, walking like an Egyptian.
Got a couple of different things for this
Here we
evening.
go, I'm striking like an Egyptian.
So much easier on that other one. I mean on mine. My old banjo. Oh man. Can't help but scat to that. Make this thing smaller.
Slide your feet up the street, bend your back, shift your arm, and you pull it.
Found a note pretty quick there.
That's hard, you know, just drive.
I didn't even practice that. Ooh, shouldn't laugh at a caddy.
All the cops is hanging out in the donut shop. Well, they're singing and
We're looking at some changes that have been made here on the map.
Playing their body armor and stuff. All the Japanese with
their yin and the party boys call Chinese know where that old yo.
Just walk the line like a gypsy. All the cops in the donut shop singing
Wade O, Wade O, where can I get a Wade O? Try your evidence locker.
Walk like an Egyptian.
Wade O? I mean, it'll be Wade, alright. It might be a little light, but it's been weighed once or twice already. Who's gonna miss an old?
Standing side by side, throw his crooked ass in jail, man.
Rock it out. I got like 3 takes of this. This is the longest one, most mess-ups. The third one's probably better, I have to contend. I still like the first one. It's got lots of opportunity. You might see a one little change I've made to the proceedings on the map before we get into the next bit of media, which I'm going to play through tonight. There's already a link in the description for what's going to play next. if you haven't noticed already. And welcome back to the Banjocast if you're joining us again. Hello and good evening, David. I'm really just starting out to show you what I've been doing because I've been picking at it, looking at little things here and there. I'm going to ask a question. I should have done this before I started tonight, but I'm going to ask a question. General question. This is for scaling issues to put it finally to bed. I did a long period of soul searching and double checking last night with Little Apple regards my ideas about what scaled means. And I concede that I might have had some of the distances off. But having measured a few of them myself, you can see some of the rulers I've been using. I'm going to ask an open question. I would like to know what is the distance, the diagonal distance between this corner and that corner. As many answers as can be provided tonight. Different people can put in a different answer. It's kind of like a jelly beans in a jar question. What is the corner-to-corner distance on this building? I'm going to say the bottom left corner to the top right corner. Or in other words, if we were to rotate the map back, the southwest corner to the westernmost corner to the easternmost corner. What is that distance? It's really not the bottom corner now, but the square corner. Because there's two pieces of this. And a ramp that comes up through the middle, right? The distance from that corner to that corner. Otherwise, everything is going to be staying the same. I've checked Google Map. I've checked my own OpenStreetMap. There's a discrepancy between the numbers. I've double-checked and rechecked them. I'll tell you a few of the other dimensions that I've been using as a general rule of thumb. Not for the entire length of this street, but for the top part up here, wall-to-wall distance, not road distance, but wall-to-wall from the buildings, 10 meters. That's this. That's not super precise, but it's close enough for my work. It needs to be well within like a meter's tolerance, and that's only maybe 10 centimeters off either side. Wall-to-wall distance. Road surface is going to be less than that, I concede, and it's probably thinner at the bottom than it is at the top. Another one. This one. I've been using as low as 20 meters wall-to-wall up here, but 21.15 is what came off of Google Maps, and I'm going with that. That's probably allowing for like maybe a foot's overlap on either side. So well within a meter still. That's the second one. That's my two major points of coincidence. That's what I'm using to make sure the scale stays what I think it should be. When we scaled things up, myself and or scaled things back, might be a better way of putting it. Myself and Little Apple were doing that, and when we were cursor to grid, cursor to center would be better. When we were doing so, I also recentered the map on the blender's coordinates. So there's an X coordinate or Y coordinate 0 in the middle there. If I turn it on the wireframe, we can see where it is, and I just snap this cursor, the circular selection, to it. So it's not right on 4th, and it's not at the intersection, but it's close. It's one change we made. And when the scale was adjusted to make sure a meter is, one blender unit is a meter in this space, 1-to-1. When we scaled it up, I made sure to give each of these control points a relationship to the map so that none of the data really needed to change too much. I already needed to make some alterations to the data due to the difference in the maps. This is the city map that's currently overlaid. This is the map that I've drawn from the city map. The city map gives me some additional extras like having contour lines as much or as little as I want. Sometimes they're more useful than others. So I can turn them on and off separately and not necessarily change anything with the 3D modeling. And some of this overlap you can see is shading that's on that city map. So I had to be careful about making sure I got my lines correct there. But I was careful when I sketched them, so it looks good now. So I've got a few alterations to make to specific coordinate sets that are attached to various controllers. Like this one here needs to be over in the road more. It's a very small change to be made to the blue SUV, or the blue, that's the Tundra, or not Tundra, the Suburban. Those are some things that I can do. I've already done those for the minivan, maroon minivan, white Camry, and the Challenger, which is gotta beware. Probably waiting under Camry by now, or making its way up around the corner. Oh, all the way over here. But for the moments leading up to the accident, the attack, whatever you want to call it, 420 feet for the first dimension, for the corner to corner. Cool. Yeah, parking garage, corner to corner, the corners that I indicated to you. Cool. I'm just converting meters or feet to meters here on my slide rule. 128.02 meters. Here's how we'll check it. I already got this one done. I know what this one should be. I'm just going to duplicate the ruler. Funny dimensions, and you're going to laugh your ass off when you see what I've selected to listen to next. I didn't check that number before we started either. I'm going to warn you. This is off the cuff. 128.29. 128.29. I'm guessing at where the center line is. I'm going to roll it around. Looks to me like my map is small then, if that's the truth. Because I make this distance at 121 along this edge. Let me turn on the line drawing mode. We see how much overlap there is. About a meter on either side. Some of that's due. Some of my error here is due to XY location, but not much. Just rough estimate based is shown on map. It's on scale. Okay. Okay, I wondered how precise you made the measurement. It's pretty close. It's within 2 meters of where I thought it would be, maybe. I would make it slightly shorter than that, but only slightly. I must be pretty close. It would tend to make the roads wider than I thought they would, though. Than I thought they were. If I had to scale this up anymore, this one would probably pop back in to perfect alignment, but not by much. It's not going to be off by much. Either way, as long as I get the positions good in the scale map, every other controller right now is parented to the map itself, so I don't have to do anything about the size of the cars. They stay independent. I've been using that as a solid. If a car is 2 meters, 5 meters long and 2 meters wide, or 1.8 meters wide or something. So that's the same no matter what. Curious question, but we'll keep asking that one tonight. Let's see how it works, because I can just keep copying rulers. Maybe I'll call this one David. here's your posterity in the Blender file. I'm more of an anarchist than that, but for now you're a ruler, David, okay? 68 feet across the mall on Main Street. That's wall to wall, you'd think? .73 meters, and I got it at 20.1, yeah? Or 21 point something. And that's overlapped. So yes, we're in agreement. Cool. 420, huh? This is the first thing I'm going to have queued to listen to as I start grinding back at making sure everything is in position and getting the rest of it positioned. This is the first piece of media I've selected. April of 1963. A series of topics are indicated on the archive.org link. Different topics.
John F. Kennedy Library, President's Office Files. Presidential Recordings Collection. Tape 82, Reel 1. 4 seconds of this tape have been excised for reasons of national security. The 2 excisions have been indicated. For additional information, see recording log number 82.
Nuclear forces of the country are scattered, disorganized in the aftermath of yesterday's loss of Bon. After heavy shelling by...
The only reason I started looking for this, I have to admit, is because I was watching something else and it made me think, hang on a second, this stuff's online. It's not only in a presidential archive, it's online. So there is a link in the description.
We abandoned the Banjo airfield and retired to...
But there was some confusion as I was listening to it as to whether or where I would find the particular clip that had made me wonder about, hey, where's the source for this? So I think I could find the source, but the dates don't match between where I'd heard it and what's available. Funny.
8 miles to the west. However, the message just received indicates that position appears to have become untenable, and he now appears to have established headquarters at Muang in the foothills to the north of the plain, where reserve armor and artillery are located. The exact strength of this force is hard to determine because of recent shifting of forces, but we estimate that there are probably 20 Soviet PT-76 amphibious tanks there.
The recording date is the 20th
Some armored
of April.
cars and several 105mm guns.
Yeah.
Yes. His stock of
Nothing in
ammunition.
particular. I'm merely listening in the background kind of thing. I want something in the background that I don't necessarily have to worry about the recording rights for starters. And second, I'm curious about that period in history anyway, that year. So some of the topics are going to continually come up. Yeah, I'll post a link right in the chat. Anyone joins us at this moment in time wants to find it without going any further. It's a long tape. It's a couple of hours long. I wish I had a bot ready to do that. Eh? That's horrible. This is all available online. It's very curious topics to me too. Laos, Cuba, Cousins, McNamara, and it's in the spring of '63 when Vietnamese government was tottering and things were going to get worse, not better.
And POL, however, are low.
Oh, we should actually mention before I get any further though, what have I been doing other than scaling maps? Because I've got it confidently scaled now, I can actually count some details. For example, I know that there's 6 of these bars across this intersection, and that the maroon minivan is definitely parked on 3, 4, and 5. due to video evidence from Ford and from GK. And that's a relationship to the stop line. Among other things. If that's incorrect, then I know to move the stop line, not the van. This is correct. It's also worthy of note that orthographically, when I look at it from above, that's not no right angle, but then again, the two blocks don't line up anyway. So the lines connect them. And when we see this shot from the overhead drone, perspective makes this look like a right angle. And I can check that. I actually physically check that by approximating where the drone might be and looking for the angle. Oh, look at that. Like all of a sudden a right angle where there really shouldn't be one. The higher you go, the less it looks like it, but the lower you go, now there's a perspective problem due to the van not being at the level of the road at the moment. I could put that up or down in Z space. Z space doesn't get keyframed in the same way. But the actual angles that this forms, that's what interests me. Since in perspective is going to look a little bit different anyway, but at the right force perspective, that will look like a right angle that doesn't exist. And the tell will be this, that, and the relationship of the van on top of them. I found a crosswalk and Beatles t-shirt, kind of creepy. That's true. That's right at the top of the run there as he gets to the intersection up here again, yep. As he sees all that stuff. Have you been watching any of the discussions on that wild-ass camera, David? I say wild, it's really not that wild. It's an old-style press camera, probably, and even fast enough to have taken a shot, like if he'd been trying to take a picture at the corner. If I raise that up a bit, and then grab and raise it down a bit. So yeah, it's in what's his face, Rebel Z, right after the accident. He's moving up the road. That's a weird thing to be looking at and like, what the heck is it? What the heck is it? I think it looks more like he's trying to check to see if it's okay too, rather than pull it out and use it. But it could conceivably have taken a high-speed shot.
Mayo guerrilla
Wild.
units already in position in the surrounding hills may have the capability to salvage his present position through harassment of PFFT flanks and supply lines. They are not organized or equipped for fighting in the plains. The total strength of the Mayos in the general area is 8,000, including some battalion-sized units, which are helping to provide security at Muang Fan and Muang Thun rear areas. General Pumi also apparently is taking steps to move regular Lao Army battalions into the fighting area for possible support of Kang Lee. The stepped-up communist military offensive probably is dictated by several considerations. The growing alignment of rightist forces with Kang Lee.
Gee, what happened to my, I had a car, I had another vehicle there, and I don't seem to see the gray SUV right now.
Area. Communist concern has been evidenced in repeated block warnings that the current trend threatened the resumption of civil war in Laos. The communists probably also wanted to confront Savannah with a fait accompli in seizing important territory before negotiations, which Savannah has been trying to initiate.
Red Z got arrested in St. Louis. No way. You think it was a film crew on top of the roof of a building at
North
5th and
Vietnamese
Main?
military involvement is unclear.
I'm not sure about that one.
We feel that they have provided artillery support, operational guidance, and heavy encadrement for PFFT Savannah's efforts to ease the crisis appeared to be too little and too late. He has finally come around to accusing the Pathet publicly of attempting to destroy
sexualized in the White House tapes. Yep.
And of trying to set up their puppet.
This will be an interesting listen tonight. I needed a difference.
Savannah has appealed to the Geneva mechanism, including the ICC, to intervene to save the situation. But he is unsure how to proceed with forceful action, and has indicated he may retire from Laos. There's now considerable doubt when and if he, Savannah, will return to the Plan de Jar for a peacemaking effort. Meanwhile, he has sent a note to Savannah Farm in Concave requesting the Pathet to cease attacks. It seems to us that Savannah realizes that in coming out strongly against the Pathet he risks a eclipse of his role as arbiter between the two extremes if some compromise cannot be achieved. The French also fear this and are urging Savannah to attempt to maintain a somewhat neutral posture. King Savannah, while describing Savannah as a...
So I tried to make a controller for the Dodge, or the, not the Dodge,
who has lost much support because of past
Tundra earlier.
Still feels
It seemed to have made a little...
everyone to work with Savannah, if only as a front.
Do we know who's talking? Not always. It's not always indicated, although if you look at the link that I provided, you can kind of figure it out sometimes. He's going to, if it's anything to do with the wars and stuff, it's probably McNamara making a report. All I know is that this is the topic stuff that's in the, I typed into the chat above, and that's on the link. Sometime we might be able to figure it out, hey? No doubt we'll be hearing a little bit of LBJ in there too. I made a change today by adding in the Tundra, but what I seem to have done while doing so is move this to a place I don't want it. I have to clear its parent relationship and keep the transformation. Just clear the parent. And it's the default gray SUV. I want that back over here somewhere. But right now it's keyframed to be over there, I think. So it thinks it should be there. It's the weirdest part of it. Let's check my assumption. Should be seeing it start moving here about now. So let's look, the curves are pretty good, other than its location and distance and stuff has been reset to prior to the move. So I gotta be careful about using parents as a way of controlling the distances and things. Hey, Manafort. It's Tinfoil Hatter joining the house. Again, the Illuminati.
Positive stand for or against
White House tapes in the background. If you're interested in commenting on anything, please comment.
He is prepared to come out in criticism of the Pathet at this juncture. That's the situation as of right now, sir.
What is the reason? I still don't quite understand why they felt it necessary to attack Conley at this time. What is our judgment of that government?
Well, they've been at this thing for some months. So they've been, the first thing they tried to do was get Conley to join forces with them. The next was to try to subvert his principal lieutenants after they killed one of them. And they've been quite unsuccessful in getting defectors, committed defectors.
Never see that? No, can't say as it did.
Tried to start them out. And as a result of
Trying to remember where it was. Maybe it was Styx. Styx was talking there a couple weeks back about a Mothman sighting in Chicago. I mean, there's sightings and then there's Mothman. Like giant bugs or
What about the,
things.
This has been their plan from the very beginning. They wanted to consolidate their position.
My vote for the coolest podcast. Thank you. I'm working hard, you know, considering I don't have a game to be playing or something. Like, I could be trying to sync shipping. I wish I had a computer that could run a game with a submarine simulator on it.
Keneen went too far.
Let me really run one.
Outraging some of the neutralists.
I'd be a dangerous guy with a submarine simulator.
It represents really an overplaying of their hand on the part of the passive.
At least I think I would.
Also, this plunge jar is a strategic point.
I need to change these 3 sets of keyframes for the gray minivan. The points of time are correct.
We've done.
The physical locations have significantly changed, so I can take a guess that all 3 of the X locations will go to the same basic new value. It'll be up or down in Y space,
Carrying the ball at this point. Now,
and it's got to be inside of this little marker I made over here.
I think what would be considered as having Governor Harriman go to Moscow. The two issues here are whether we do a direct approach, and then
So I'll go grab Y and hold the Shift key.
Governor Harriman. The second issue is
Start moving it up in Y space.
within Moscow.
Didn't get all the keyframes.
This or the
Firstly, I'll say that that's the question we've been after the British and the ambassador here of co-chairman to take action. The British have been dealing with the Soviets. The ambassador, their ambassador in Moscow, felt that the Soviets were going to move and urged us not to bring too much pressure. I don't think we thought that was too good a reason. But in any event, whatever they tried to
We'll be
do,
closer to
they
that.
tried to do anything, they failed. We've been in touch with the Soviet ambassador in Vientiane, and I think
These all need to be lower,
appearance at least, and speaks to Roger of cooperating.
but I also need these other
But
ones.
heavily,
Grab Y.
no avail.
They're not flying in any equipment or anything.
No, sir. That's one of our problems, is that they have very little leverage. That is, the Soviets have very little leverage on Hanoi or the Pacific Islands.
Took a careful
We've got no airlift to stop.
evaluation before I tried to clear
What we
anything.
want to do, what we are trying to do, of course,
We
and
North Korea to jump and goof.
deny what's left of Laos, and especially those north-south roads, to the communists by political means. Because if they go into the hands of the communists, the build-up that can take place in infiltration in South Vietnam can be multiplied a lot more. No, if they have southern Laos, I'm not talking about the road, Vientiane, Pakistan, Phuket, the whole of Laos.
Mostly the river valley.
The river is the Mekong lowlands where the north-south roads are. They can
Listen
then
to them arguing
build
over what they got.
up in southern Laos by truck convoys, a lot of supplies, which can be immediately.
Is that McNamara?
exported to Vietnam. The second thing is the effect on Thailand. Given Thailand's history and the rest of it, I think you will you'll see a quick neutral, going neutral on the part of Thailand if we lose the whole block. So the object is to try to retain what we've got there by political means. Now, at the present time, there's a chance of retaining a coalition government and a neutrality, and then a fallback position would be a de facto partition of Laos or an actual partition of Laos. Now, in either case, the only leverage we have in the situation is on the Soviets.
Latest intel is that the nukes are fake. Well, tinfoil hatter. I don't know if you saw what I posted last night when I started, or after I started the show after midnight, local midnight. What was it? The number of test devices which have been exploded since the Second World War ended is fairly large. I don't doubt that some of those nukes might be real, but how dangerous are they compared to all the testing we've already done? It's the threat of what happens when an exchange begins. We have tested so many devices, we just haven't started a war with one.
Would recommend a direct approach, and of this, at the moment,
Yeah, unfortunately, the tests
I'm leaning towards Governor Harriman.
tests are generally not that fake.
What does he say there is the next thing, and unfortunately, because the Soviets don't have now the leverage of saying we'll cut off aid or anything else, it's our feeling that it's the possibility of a re-involvement militarily of the U.S. at any variety of levels, and we're not making any recommendations.
Let's check this against what Reb says.
But just that heroin can suggest to the Soviets that if this goes on like this, if the neutrals don't continue to exist.
There's a stop sign on the corner that exists between these two vehicles. What a tight squeeze. Gotta be careful with my XY there. That's as far as I need it.
So if Governor Herman can, hint at this with the Soviets, then the Soviets have got some leverage on Hanoi to make them put the pressure. And I don't think there's any question in anybody's mind that Hanoi has plenty of leverage with the patent law.
It seems to be very clear that the patent law of the North Vietnamese have been the driving force rather than the patent law. We seem to always have the cadres with them, and there's an indication that the leaders of the patent law are influenced by the North Vietnamese. Prince Banjocast is rather more of a nationalist and has indicated at the beginning at least that he wanted to play the game within reasonable limits. So the North Vietnamese, I think you agree with that, don't you all agree?
Yes, and I think it's also been a lot of people's judgment that the Kumi forces could take care of themselves. They're only other allowed.
Yeah, it could be a bunch of people. This is might be a National Security Council talking. It could be. This is both secret tapes and White House official, like I guess, Oval Office tapes. This is a 3-hour meeting.
And this gives reason to hope that a Harriman mission to Moscow would be successful. And that I think that the Soviets, would be happy to countenance this kind of political erosion or harassment.
David, I gotta tell you, I'm so sick and tired of playing computer games that this is the kind of computer work I'd much rather be doing when it comes to doing stuff.
I would think the British feel that it's a little too strong a position, in that it is a public way of saying...
it isn't recently declassified, no. Actually, it's been out since the 70s, 73 or onwards, the Kennedy Library got it. But it's on the internet too, so I don't have to pay rights to play it. Even better. I don't have to worry about ad breaks or nothing. I might get interrupted a few times.
What seems to be quite futile is this exchange of first-place letters.
I mean, I might get not interrupted by the chat. I mean, interrupted by, applying my skill set a little more, with a little more, direction, a little more forethought and perhaps purpose. But it's my own selected purpose. It's the purpose that I want to be taking, paying heed to.
The only way we can get some kind of an answer is to confront
update the van's X position.
One can't tell what the effect would be. Any other.
No, I'm leaving it right there. If he's got room to get through, he's got room to get through. He has to take his time to do it. And when he gets here,
the patent law go as far as they can, or whether he begins to get afraid that this is going to escalate into something that's unmanageable for him.
I would think in the current situation, sir, there are two major dangers from our point of view. I don't really anticipate a lunge for Kumi's juggler at this particular stage, not yet. But I think there are two very real dangers in this. One is that by our failure to respond in some fairly strong way,
worst thing is being stuck. Like you can't. It's no good for me to even try to do this for 4 hours straight because I can't concentrate that long at the best of times. Let alone if you're requiring of frequent stops.
Is that both the neutralists and the Kumi forces will become disheartened and will make the same conclusion that we have written them off and collapse, and then we won't have anything, as a basis for reacting.
I think it's a reasonable path for him to take there. It's a two-way road at the bottom, right? This vehicle won't be there.
We could have the ambassador request to talk to Khrushchev.
So the next thing I did was,
I don't think there's any.
let's see if I go to the next keyframes for this one.
I think it's got to be moved up high. On the other, I'm quite ready to do it if it's.
I got that one in position to where I think it should be,
I think it's a great deal in this question of
which isn't long before there's an impact.
what the posture of the United States government is in terms of reactions.
And I think that's good for position. There's nothing else there other than I've got the Tundra to place now.
Balance and also our enemies.
Even more important than whether to take on the trip is what you can say and how far really
That's
we're
on the
prepared
tape.
to go. What you can fit. I mean, you can't just go and say like, please, you gotta behave, but you gotta go and
Somebody
say,
arriving, hey?
you
Something
don't.
important?
This is what we're prepared to do, and what we're prepared to do is really the nature.
Cognate question, Mr. President. As you know, the two ambassadors have sought an interview with Khrushchev on this other subject, and he's coming to town tomorrow to Moscow.
The two ambassadors
British and American.
saw an interview with Nikolai.
Not looking at any animation, like any animation. Not looking at any video data at the moment.
Discussing with the Prime
I'm
Minister.
going to be going by what I know. I've got the keyframe set to it other places, and it's a matter of adjusting
We're going
to a time, a specific time.
They asked at that point they have. I think it seems to be 2 or 3 first. This is a matter of the atomic.
Just ticking it by, waiting for it to occur.
Does he know
Getting
that-
almost 30 frames a second here. Not quite, but
Thoughts on
almost.
this? Does Khrushchev know that we asked?
Khrushchev knows
Going to
exactly.
deliver. The other question really is whether we take any military action in Thailand or whether we do something in the area of Cuba. Just
Got to get clear of that Tundra there yet.
I think we all see the question about having American troops in Laos. It's the most difficult area, but we don't.
Rebel Z's position needs to be updated. You can see it's too far north,
They're very interrelated.
but his turns and stuff seem pretty good. 2 feet. 2 feet on the contour. So you can think 1 foot for the midpoint, or 2 feet every time you cross one to a midpoint. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. I saw some of that Sippy the Pinhead. I saw some of his uploads lately. They've been looking good.
Cuba, I don't think it has too much effect on the psychology within
He got out by some delays.
among the Laos.
He was braking when he passed that line, or until he passed that line.
This thing about the forces there, you know, we've known from the beginning that the Vietnam side take Kumi.
His curve is convoluted, but here it is.
Evidently, whatever they want. Really, the question whether the Soviet Union has
Bunch of data points
designed
for it.
anything about it. Number one, and number two, whether they
Like
have
there to there for Gilmore. I got to update that one a little. There to there for a braking, and then downhill.
3 or 4.
The braking cost him a quicker trip.
Instead of having some withdrawal. I don't know whether maybe Russians would mind that. We have the question of sending some forces into Thailand. We have the question of sending Ambassador Harriman. We have the question
JFK talking now.
more intense around Cuba.
Hell, we could identify some of these people by voice, other than our ears. I mean, because known samples over time, right?
I'm going to speak of is what the Lieutenant General said. What response we might have in mind. Now, the response we have in mind, the minimum response would be to send back the White Star teams. The mission that they don't get out. Another would be to, second would be to again, set forces in Thailand. And then,
We need him to be out far enough to clear the Tundra. That's why I've set that one
set it from there up.
President, I think that
there.
first place, the chiefs of nine.
He still needs to hook back almost, right?
options that they would recommend, but I think they're completely agreed on one matter, and certainly it's clear in my mind we would not wish to move U.S. troops into Laos. We would not wish to recommend that to you.
And there's something about this motion I don't like.
It should be some other form of pressure, and the only other form that is applicable in that
I
particular
don't know if it's
area
merely like the implication that he's got to go that far before he hits that white car, maybe, but perhaps it's farther back.
or from Thailand by air. Is there no carrier operation against Laos that makes sense? None that would make as much sense.
Because I think I should be seeing the car right about there, too.
Carrier planes can get into Laos, however.
Either way, I can fine-tune that to as the map.
Short time on
I get some of these marks locked down in the map. So I'm putting in,
What about sending the Marines back into Thailand?
physically adding in these things. and using these as guides which I can move or duplicate.
Send in air units into Thailand, and this might be desirable. One of the things I would suggest today is that we alert our forces. By doing so, we can reduce the time, both carrier forces and air forces.
Swung east when he stopped. It probably would have. It probably would have. But there's no sign of his wheels having turned or cut, though. So he comes in the same direction he came out.
I would think tomorrow morning we ought to have some proposal from the Defense Department of various steps.
He takes it on the corner, like, so he is kind of pushing them more to the east than to the west or south. So the rebels' motion north shouldn't be going that far north. I might have to alter his curve a little bit to reflect that he's not going that far north.
But at least let's have what these alternatives are, including the White Star team and various other things that we might be doing. I don't know what all the alternatives are, but I think the department ought to have a recommendation about what means we should take to communicate our concern in addition to these steps, including the security efforts.
I think to some extent two tie in together, as the Attorney General says. It's, if you are trying to go there, I would never ask you to make a decision in advance, but to have some indication in the back of my mind, at least, as to the direction which your mind is working.
Well, we've always had the problem of attempting to not only commit our forces into Laos, and yet that threat is always the thing that is held alive. Once we use our forces either against the North, putting them in, that threat is gone, and then we have the problem of this may not sort of dissolve in not much this action.
Well, I think what's perfectly obvious is that they're going to press, if that allow perfectly obvious, they're going to press for more and more and more and more. If they get away with this eliminating Conley, and they'll begin to pull me down in each area. And with the weak lead, Savannah's turned out to be much worse even than we expected him, or equally bad anyway. Conley is the one that seems to have more courage. If Savannah has supported him more, he might have held out. He still is a threat, even if he stays where he is with the Mao. Well, we can continue to supply him with the by air and the through the Mao area, so there is still a threat. Now, if they get the idea that they can get away with this, well, I think they're going to chisel it. They get some signal from the United States to let's stop, look, and listen.
We've not yet given arms directly from the United States to Conley. Pumi has supplied Savannah arms, and Savannah supplied Conley arms and ammunition. We do have these pallets in Thailand where we could move there.
He's farther back than that even, isn't he?
His
Faith is in. Oh no, Faith's in advance beyond the line. That's right.
2 seconds excised.
2 seconds taken away.
Like the White Star team that represents
very little redacting.
Involved in the part of the U.S. that Governor Harriman could use as hitting it.
We have a
Tape for 420, I believe.
Arms and ammunition.
Just a little tip off this. The Roach. The Roach. 2 seconds.
We do not have an appointment yet, Mr. President. What they have is a request for an appointment and notice from Gromyko that he's coming back Saturday and the matter will be raised with him then. It seems to me that what we ought to do is consider whether there ought not be. I don't think we ought to interrupt the letter, and I think the Prime Minister would give us filio too. But I think we should consider a rider to this message saying we
Could be anything. They had the Peace Corps and stuff over here too. They were having civilian deaths and everything up to this point.
Just as we have got a variety of
Just civilian workers are starting to get.
military sphere, may be wise to have the ambassador make the first cut with Mr. Khrushchev and hold Governor Harriman in reserve as a second step. Next week is the continued situation.
This is me taking a wild guess what Rebel might have done here. So someone said Rebel got arrested. Does anyone know if that's true? I got to go look for that if I'm going to stop. Might be something to do in the next break. I'm not happy to hear that, but I don't necessarily believe it either. It's a good way for anyone who's connected to Rebel to also start to get, investigated because he's been arrested.
To reestablish the position. Immediate contact with Mr. Gromyko
Makes his way up to look at the Tundra.
While an attempt is being made on the spot to contact Prince Savannah Bond, Conquet, and ask him to stop the fight. One question we don't have answered there is who is making the immediate contact with Mr. Gromyko?
I think Ford is going to be a little farther uphill than that, but not much.
I think we've got to let them play that game first.
Because they were scaled and moved in relationship to one another, this should work out all right, I think.
Reaction first. Or we take up the Soviet Union, must have not the Soviet reactions.
I think we ought to have tomorrow morning, as I say, from the military, what are the things we could do, and also the diplomatic, and all there's some recommendations on that.
And because the ace of the whole, Khrushchev, is promise to you. That's really the thing that we want to, if you want to, at the moment, cash in on that. I never thought it was right to do it, but I understand it. But it seems to me we have come to a point where we want to consider doing it and just having it straight out with it. And the guy that might be there on the best could be somewhat more authoritative than I do. And whether you want to.
So one last thing there, I got to make sure that I got the right idea about how far back that parking line is.
Or they might want to hold it in reserve. I think these are that's what they want away. The fact that my own mind is open on it, and I haven't checked.
I'm not sure, David. I don't remember watching it specifically. The last doctor one I looked at, or even remotely, was the one Syed posted.
I know the relationship between Cuba
The one that kept following the dude who was on the news, the one who was doing the compressions forever. And it's not him, is it? Guy said he was there for one reason, and ends up being there for another. So the next issue is none other than La Tundra. Tundra's right here. Look at all the Tundra's curbs. Isn't she a curvy vehicle? Blocky and square like that? I don't need any curves, no keyframes at all for Tundra. Tundra's locked down, but invisible for the first bit. Tundra, I figure, must be about there. Given parking lines and space in front of it and behind, right? Let's say the Tundra's tight to the curb. It should be a, whatchamacallit. Ooh, it sounds like the end of a session. Should be tight to the curb. There should be a pole, like a power pole somewhere close to this. The door wouldn't have been able to open up, right? And then there's a no parking zone right behind it. Yes, thank you, David. I did see the links. I'll check them. It's Z rotate or location. Currently keyframe.
Early today, Conley sent these words to Bethlehem. Banjo will now be lost. We have no troops, no aid has come from Bethlehem. There are only a few meows. All our ammunition is gone. Please think of my group. Message of 19th April, Conley specifically had urged Savannah to ask for immediate dispatch of 2 Lao Army paratroops.
Already got it called Tundra. I haven't given it its own material yet.
Request for help from Savannah. Meanwhile, on 19 April, he ordered an infantry battalion to move towards the Plan de Jar from Pak Saint-Sanan area. Lao Army companies are already in close support of neutralist forces at La Thang and Banjocast. Firm information is lacking on the disposition of friendly forces in a fast-moving situation. Commonly scattered forces in the Banjo area already reduced to about 1,500 effective troops suffered further dislocation and casualties in the fight at Dulcimer and subsequent withdrawal north.
Hello, Nun. Welcome back.
Armor in the Banjocast area includes upwards of 20 Soviet PT.
We're listening to the Kennedy tapes there this evening, or some Kennedy tapes. A selection from 1963. I've been looking actually through the list of the Kennedy tapes there that I got this one from. I'm looking for one from August, late August 1963 would be ideal. The 22nd onwards through to maybe the 30th. Looking for a tape in there. I've got another one ready to go after this one. This one's 3 hours long. Nun's just joined us, so that's why I'm stopping for a second. I'll issue another, I'll issue the same, I should have put this in the description. I'll issue the same request to chat. I'd like estimates, please, for the length of the big double wide parking lot diagonal southwest corner top rectangle. I'll show you what I mean. The joke. I'll show you what I mean. I mean this. What this thing is measuring. I'd like that length, please. The length for the, or I'll turn off this just not to give it away. I'd like the length for this. This corner to this corner. The exact length. You can give me feet or meters, doesn't matter. Taking answers for this. This distance, please. And otherwise, I've been adding in little details like this to help get things locked down in space, like exactly to within a meter. For example, the number of stripes across this is 6. It does overlap like that. There will be another bar picking up on this side, and the van is touching 3, 4, and 5. If count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 3, 4, and 5 has the van on them. Zoom out a tad. Not on the long corner. Not on the long corner, but on the top rectangle part of the parking lot garage, the double long parking lot, like just on a double block. I want length from the bottom left corner to the top right corner. Or in other words, if we were to rotate that due to geography, the easternmost corner of the rectangle, the block-sized rectangle, easternmost corner to the, easternmost to the westernmost. Not the southern to the, it doesn't matter. No, southern to the north would work too. On water between 4th and 3rd. Yeah. I need a length for that block. Basically the building on those 2 blocks, whatever that corner to corner distance is. This will help me determine, I think, just how good the scaling, my idea of scale right now is. Although I think things like this kind of indicate it really well. This is the size of the van as a bounding box. Long enough and wide enough. This one. This one's being controlled? Is this one? Yeah, I think so. Well, first, let's do this one. Better off doing that one first. I'm going to take a shortish break. That's why I've paused Mr. Kennedy and his security advisors. Lock down everything on this one. Not going to move it. Not going to estimate anything at the moment about the Black Tundra. Just want it locked down in position. This one, however, currently is locked down in position. Has no other keyframes. Following the parent, so I have to clear the parent and hope that it doesn't move. Well, it doesn't much matter. Alt P, clear parent, keep transformation. Yes. So a very small change, didn't change any scaling or sizing, but I do know that I want them here, and I do know that I want that to be closer to negative 91.17 or something. Oh, that looks like it's the wrong direction, so 91.17 or something. I know also that it should be out on the curb more, and I can rotate it to fine tune. Well, I went the wrong way with the rotation. And then I'll do the same thing again, just merely lock it down. Now the traffic needs to get around it. Or has to allow for it. There's a center line which I'm not marking in here either, although I could get where the center line is really easily now with these double lines. The mall estimates too, yeah, I'll also give those scales, although I can merely announce these, I think. I can just announce these. My assumptions for the scale of the map are that an average width between any two walls along the length of the street is 10 meters. That will allow for road service and sidewalks. And that the mall from north to south building here, as the map shows, it's not really north to south, but from this wall to this wall should be around 20 meters. 21 would be closer. And that's wall to wall. But the only one I need to check, David, I think, is this diagonal. If I check this diagonal for this building, it's the newest one. It's the one's most likely been mapped a lot of times and it's easiest to map. I think we'll get this one in scale quickest. It's basically the largest rectangle around. I also used this one once or twice just to see. Checked it against other maps too. This one has a smaller margin of error in it. But not as small. Well, this one has a small margin of error, not as small as this one. And the smaller distance I go, the more error there's going to be due to like minuscule changes in when it was mapped and so on and so forth. But I got everything back to where I needed it. And it does seem to be doing me fine. We're just gonna get the first half hour of the Kennedy tape there. Ooh, ain't nothing. I do need stretch. Got a cup of tea out there waiting for me too. I'll get ready. Get that as I'm getting ready. Do I have music that I can cut to rather than Mr. Kennedy? Well, not yet. But I can arrange it. I can arrange it.
While the old paintings that are on that tomb, they do the sand dance, and don't you know, with the move too quick, well, oh, whoa, way, oh, and they're falling down like a domino. What a buzz on man down by the Nile, hey, they got the money on a bet. Gold crocodiles, well, oh, way, oh, can snap the teeth on your cigarette. Foreign types of lady who got pop singing way, oh, way, oh, way, oh, way, oh. Walk like an Egyptian. The blonde waitresses, they can take their trays, they can spin around and they'll cross the floor. They got the moves, well, oh, way, oh, when you drop your drink, man, they'll bring you more. The school kids so sick of books, hate like the punk and the metal band. When the buzzer rings, well, oh, way, oh, they'll walk around like a gypsy. All the kids in the marketplace singing way, oh, way, oh, way, oh, way, oh, oh, walk like an Egyptian. Go on strike like an Egyptian. Slide your feet up the street and bend your back. Shift your arm, then you can pull it back. Life's high, you know, oh, hey, oh, so strike your pose on that Cadillac. Well, if you wanna find all the cops, they'll be hanging out in the donut shop, where they'll sing and dance and they'll play with their guns and fix the straps on their right ear. The Japanese with their yin and potted boys call it the Chinese know, oh, way, oh, walk the line like an Egyptian. All the cops in the donut shops singing way, oh, where can I find me way, oh, walk like an Egyptian. Go on strike like an Egyptian. Go stand in the square side by each with all your pals. Doesn't matter what religion they're in. We're gonna throw that crooked ass in jail, you know, that president. So, thinks he can get away shooting us. Oh, just like an Egyptian. Rock out on strike like an Egyptian.
Better. Yeah, that's probably the better take, I have to admit. I'm also saving you the Hammond organ, because there's a Hammond organ clip there. Like an Egyptian. Go on strike like an Egyptian. It was once the Bangles. I took it back and put it on a banjo. I put it on a banjo before the apocalypse, you see. I've thought ahead. I said to myself, ha, one of these days the power won't work. Who's going to be able to play the Bangles then? Ha, guess who's ready? You wanted a mall estimate too. Hypotenuse, try 3-4-5 rule. It is a hypotenuse problem, but the issue that we're looking here is I want to check my idea of what the scale is, none, against anyone else's idea of what the scale is. Because Little Apple wanted me to make it way smaller last night. Way, way smaller than what I think it should be. based on my available data. So I'm going to ask a general question. What's the measurement of that corner? The more data I get, the more average that estimate should turn to. I think I know what it is. David's answer was pretty good. More precise. We don't have to be more precise than a meter is what I've been trying to do. If I can get to within a meter, I'm happy. That's 3 feet. Plus or minus 1.5 feet, right? Whereas, oh, I've done it go-go too. I've done it proper go-go. So I said I would have known the Hampton Sharks like Ganson's an hour away. Well, there's 2 triangles, one small, one much larger. I only see one. Don't ignore the line, the white line on top. None. That's another ruler. That's merely another ruler. I want that other line. I want that one. I want this line from this corner of the building to that corner of the building. Whatever the corner-to-corner measurement is there, that should be more or less the largest, like corner-to-corner measurement I can find where the angles ought to be square. If they're not quite square and it's not a rectangle but a quadrangle, well, I'll deal with that too. Now, if you only look like Susanna Hoffman, truth. If I only look like Susanna Hoffman. Truth, but you know, Halloween's coming. Halloween's practically here. Susanna Hoffman. Run an animation based on time. I've actually parked in that garage. The corner-to-corner measurement, if you took 2 GPS coordinates, we could do the same measurement. From the back corner to that front corner, as I see it. It is. It's time for the last cup of Tetley out of that pot, because I brewed by the pot now. I stopped brewing by the cup and started brewing by the pot. And now I cut it with hot water to stretch the pot out a little more. So now one bag gets me closer to 2 cups than 1, and I don't have to worry about my kidneys rotting. Well, it's not that they rot. Let's see, on 2 vids I made 2 estimates. You could do it from a video, or you could do it from map data. I've checked against Google. I've checked against OpenStreetMap. So right now I have an estimate for the scale of this map for a 1-to-1 correspondence, 1 blender unit to 1 meter, and my idea of what this should be roughly coincides with what David suggested. There might be a meter, plus minus a meter, maybe 1.5 meters in disagreement, but not more than that. And strangely, it fell right into this. The White House tapes.
And other artillery pieces, but fuel and ammunition stocks are very low.
And I didn't check that number before we started, David. I honestly didn't. It's merely the date of the tape.
Also slight. Guerrillas are unsuited for static defense in the valleys, and they are largely remain as yet uncommitted in the nearby hills. Bands of several hundred Miao guerrillas.
You have 2 estimates. Yeah, I will give you a few minutes. You take all the time you need. There's no rush.
Including the heights overlooking Songkwang town, and in the ridges of
I have 2 estimates that I've been going by, and they're both pretty close right now.
Communist forces involved are mainly Pathe Lao and are believed to include some North Vietnamese elements. They have at least a 2-to-1 numerical superiority over Congolese plus plentiful military stocks. The communists are capitalizing on Congolese demoralization to press forward, to drive the neutralist troops into the hills. Savannah appears to be pinning his hopes on a ceasefire largely on international intervention by the Geneva Conference nations. He has backed away again from security conditions permitting, Savannah now indicates that he will go to the Plan de Jar on Sunday in company with the British and Soviet ambassadors and the ICC chairman, Singh. Meanwhile, the departure from Vientiane to Sanway, a Patli Lao Minister of Information, Fumi Banjocast, might further indicate the trend towards the breakdown of formal coalition structure. Now, we have a rather long communication in from my station chief. It has a video very interesting.
The bus needs to be made a little further south. It's not a big change for the bus.
Into the to see Conley of a
GK is pretty solid. I can use GK to get a solid number of bars across the street too.
That is, Conley's cries for help and distress tended to agree with French reports from their officers in the Plan de Jar, as well as a British newswoman who returned from Plan de Jar last night, saying Conley's position was hopeless. This morning, however, Conley was visited by Bird and Sons pilot Dutch from Gerstmann.
Excision 2. 2 seconds excised.
Who reported Conley calm and determined. Conley's headquarters.
There's some of the, what are they called, locates. Little Apple was mentioning these to me last night too. These are locates.
Conley said, "I will fight the communists to the death."
In advance, there's planned road work here. You can see them from the overhead drone too.
There seems to be some indication that in the field he is somewhat better frame of mind.
There's a half bar there, right?
Reflected in the situation that they're in. That's rather interesting. Cable while we're
So
reading.
1, 2, 3. Do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Four gets me to the white line in the middle, the yellow line. 5, 6, 7, 8, and a 9th on the other side.
Mr. President, I talked to Lord Hume last night by telephone, and he told me about the message that he just sent to Domenico.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
They put maximum pressure on the situation in Laos to get the Geneva Accords back in.
And then, yeah, they didn't bother to put it in. Cool. 9 there, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and a half bar.
We've not yet been able to see Domenico. We just got a flash in a few moments ago that Domenico is still unavailable and is likely to be for the rest of the day. His judgment there is that Khrushchev is in town. They are having meetings there themselves about this and perhaps other situations as well, and that we won't know for a few hours now what the Soviet reaction is. On the one side, Moscow radio has been taking some pot shots at us about interference in internal affairs of Laos, but on the other side, they seem to be staying with the notion that the Geneva Accords ought to be fully carried out. So I think one very important point here is
4 plus 5 and then a half bar.
Soviet attitude is. Then there's in the background the question of what influence they have on the ground in Laos. I must say our impression has been that the Soviet ambassador in Vientiane has been trying to be helpful in general, but so far without biting effect. Again, on the political side, the position of Savannah Pullmans seems to me to be quite critical.
1, 2, 3 on this side of the road. That one's right on the yellow line, and then 1, 6, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8.
The notion of legitimacy. We need the idea of
and the squareness of the block has been painted or added over. What's that? It's flattening. It's a low back easement, yeah?
And to be a rallying point for Fumi, for the Mayos, for the usually such as they are, perhaps in some way to engage the king in the situation in which he has not been engaged thus far. And therefore, we would suggest that as a first step, additional step, that
look at that one.
Immediately,
again, kind of centered on the middle line there, but it's the third one in. So I know where the lanes are now.
Airdropping arms.
Look at the guy going right over the lane.
Thailand will be put in to make it clear to Savannah that if he is willing to step out and do something about it, the independence of laws, they can have very strong support from us. Now,
So is he in the wrong lane of traffic for the blue Suburban or not?
Public statement 2 days ago, but he still is not as staunch here as we would like. But if he were to quit, or if he were to swing the other way, then we would have to be in a very, very unsatisfactory position. In terms of what there is in laws to support.
So, these are too many, I think.
Be weak, and I think the morale situation inside the country would be undermined. So we make a very strong point that we've got to do everything we can now with Savannah to get him moving in the right way on this. Secondly, we're not at all satisfied with the attitude of the French, who seem not to be as concerned about this as they ought to be, who want to...
I got 11 there where there seems to be 9.
Very careful about the way
On the other side, there's only 9.5 on this other side, so let's try that again.
A bridge between the two sides, an attitude that seems to us to open the way just for steady erosion of the coalition government and the non-communist elements. We feel that we ought to go strongly to include the Mobile on this point, to try and get the French
I'll try it
with
again.
the British and ourselves on a much firmer basis. That Kohler already discussed the law was the lead code.
Face select mode for this.
And depending upon what comes
Well,
out,
actually, don't even get all those, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.5. Should fit across this distance, and there's the half one at the beginning.
Ambassadors to the 3 ICC countries where we concentrate pretty hard on the Polish ambassador to get them to try to find out more about what their attitude is. These seem to us to be the immediate political moves that we might be taking in this situation to discover what is really happening on the other side. Now, on the military side, I think we have to be a little cautious about seeming to commit ourselves to military action in Laos without knowing what there is to support or who is doing what. But on the other hand, there's some precautionary
This overlaps too
might
much.
be useful both to ourselves, to Savannah Puma, and perhaps even to Moscow, indicating that giving them a chance to indicate that the thing could heat up if they're not careful. One possibility would be that we move up the CEDAW maneuver scheduled for late May and June. When I say that, Mike, now I don't mean moving up the timing of the exact operation that was scheduled for May and June, but rather moving up the label, putting a label on something else that would reinforce our forces in Thailand. And I would
Everyone starts clearing their throat.
consideration to putting some forces into northern South.
Put another word on that. Another label, please. Sorry.
Couldn't help it.
Try to get the right accent on that.
Because if the situation in Laos does go sour rapidly, then I think we can expect a step up of pressures and action in South Vietnam. And if we have to consider
I'm using this as a guide to get an idea of just how wide these lines are, but I think that's the basic pattern. They're about as wide in the gap as they are across the paint.
be organized coming in from Laos or from Vietnam.
So I'm using one as a width guide against the other one and lining them up by eye.
To make any specific military move, say in the next 3 days.
But when I get that done across there, I think that'll take up the gap. And if that takes up the gap, then I've got the right size in the first place. I eyeballed it pretty careful last night before I started this, or before I did this today. Wow, look at that, it's practically overlapping already. I made up a whole slot across the way, which is what I wanted. This one I can full on delete.
I don't know whether Tom has had a chance to get back into the picture and has any particular reactions on what may be happening in Moscow at this point.
Well, I think we'll have to wait for the reading on when the rebellion does
see what's where they're jumping. This the broadcast yesterday, the Secretary pointed out, did it both ways. They accused us, but at the same time they end up by suggesting that the Laotians are the ones to settle this thing, and that it's that war in Laos must be averted. This is the demand of the Laotian people in the interest of peace in Southeast Asia, which is a pretty good indication that maybe they are going to try to calm this thing down.
The Soviet Foreign Office official who did see Trevelyan said that he would transmit the message to Gromyko straight away, but that the Soviets themselves weren't concerned about the situation there, and added that he thought the continuing with Kharkov would be sustained. Well, that doesn't mean very much at the moment because we haven't got a formal reply yet from Gromyko. But if they are meeting on this in Moscow today, it's possible we could know a video more by tomorrow. So
what about, Tony, question is, the next 3 days you can carry out some of the diplomatic suggestions proposed by the Secretary. Is it any military preparations we might make be inimical of success, or would it be helpful? That seems to be the basic question. I think we ought to do all the things the Secretary
Frank question from the President there, I think.
Have to coincide with the military actions.
I think it might be helpful. I don't know whether it's feasible or not. It'd be helpful if we could take
Wider
some
street
military
narrows
action
slightly
publicized
going
as
east
it
in
was
addition to
known in
being
Hanoi.
offset.
And if it's were feasible,
It does.
some ships toward that area without our publicizing.
I'm also noticing like where the lines and stuff are going to be. Like there's a lane that ends here on this line
It'd be far
somewhere.
easier for him to go along with this if it were something done by Bumis.
The yellow line for this side, so then there's a double lane on this side.
If he again has to back down in the face of American military pressure, it's pretty hard for him. But he may need this if he decides to go along with this in order to influence Hanoi. It seems that that's where the main problem is.
Bob, you mentioned something with the carrier.
Yeah, Mr. President, you might like to hear from General Taylor the military moves the chiefs have considered in our recommendation.
The chief considered a number of possible things we might do at this stage, Mr. President.
Are not parallel on each side. They're not on this side. They're not. I don't know about this one.
Concurrently with the moves
This one looks pretty good. That's using the drone as a reference. Not right now, of course, but I mean, I might expect to see something like that if they are. If they're not, then they'll be offset, and I can simply rotate these to match where they need to go to. Yeah, per satellite view, like from above, they shouldn't be. Maybe not this one for sure, it won't be, and neither will that one. Because they're going between the corners. How much did I say on the last one? Maybe 5.5.
Would it meet your point for that group to proceed to rain and call in there, where it would be nearer?
No, sir, it can cruise in that area any place you want. We would not recommend putting anybody ashore any place at this time. At this juncture, I wouldn't see the advantage of having people in the way. It might come up later, but not now.
I must say, I don't see the putting people in the way as a... I think we have a tough time getting them out of there. I'd rather put them in Thailand in the way. Well, anyway, we're not going to settle that today. We can discuss that. But the proposal would be to have this fleet leave today.
Anytime you want to do it.
If we would not publicize it, would it become known out?
We would have to consider just how we get it out, how we get the word out. I don't know.
We'd have to see it's a Saturday day. Sunday?
Have a good mind to add every single road marking, or at least for this small area, just to this corner of the map.
Would become known, Mr. President. We've done this before, and it becomes known. This would be one of the objectives.
That's right. That's wondering the best way to get
Not a single one of them are parallel, I wonder? Because that would make sense too with some of the implied lines here. 5.5 lines on north side of 4th, and 6 on the south side. A full 6 on the south side. Yeah, that's what I just counted. 5.5 on the south side if you allow for If you allow for the fact that there's like a, you can see in GK why there's an overlap there.
Too much compared to the risk that would entail.
They've got some of it painted over, right? Or there's temporary stripping on it? So I've got one offset too far. Oh, that explains it. I see what I did wrong.
Selected points, not handled. Selected points, which you might see the bottom of it.
Could we try to find out what physically we could do to damage?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Well, I was wondering, yeah, whether you'd see them on 2 occasions and we might try to
8, 9, 9, maybe 9.5. Can't be no more.
There are 2 things in particular. One is the sunken ship approach to present, the other is destruction of their rail lines. And there's several very vulnerable rail bridges that can be taken out.
See, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then there's a 6th one implied, but it's underneath a piece of blacktop. Short piece of asphalt's covering. So 3 there, 4th is on the line. 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe 9 there. Can't be no more.
Probably would not then get in the way of and might reinforce the political process going on this weekend. There is by the time the ship began to move. I don't think we're going to follow.
Shouldn't be 10 there, really.
Leave and that sort of thing. For this purpose, we're never going to leave.
You want to know that they're preparing to leave on Monday afternoon?
I don't think so. Monday morning. Or Monday morning.
We'll let that be known today. We send out the messages.
Well, now, let's could we reiterate what it is that we want to do in the diplomatic area? As I understand that all we plan to do, we won't plan to just, we want to get permission from Thailand to put forces ashore there. We decided that was.
Well, we would have to discuss it with them on that hotel too. I would think that you might go to Bangkok straight away, but not go to India until we've had some reaction.
One night in Bangkok makes a hard man humble.
Well, I'm afraid that there you'd have to be more specific than we're prepared to be. We'd have to have some proposals.
10 strips on west side, 9.5 on east. Okay, I shouldn't have made that last alteration. 10 on the west. Thought maybe 9 or 10. That's easily put back in. That's no biggie. Shift dupla. So they'll be on that corner and cutting back that way. It should be a little bit longer. I'm going to rotate them not from the center point there, but from their median point.
I think it'd be unwise at this time to give the ties any reason to believe we're sending ground troops back in.
Going to scale them up a tiny bit on the X level. So they get that sense of overlap and grab X.
Surely it's mine that we should take a moving air units to tie up before moving ground units, although that might later be necessary.
I talked to the foreign minister about the
Grab on the Y, move it north.
speeding up this SEATO maneuver, and he did not seem to be worried about it. He said he thought that Thailand would agree if we asked Thailand to do it. But I would point out that it would not be the same maneuver. It would simply be the flag of that maneuver put on something else, because the Allied forces did not get there much earlier than June.
I think what it's going to, we are moving in first until we stay there, and eventually the Allied forces will catch up with us.
That's right. Our movement will be associated with this exercise. But the steps that we aiming to take forward.
I'm using one to duplicate the next one, and then I'll get rid of the one that I don't need. Get the spacing back.
French, following French policy in Laos, Savannah, and they don't agree with it.
Overhead shot from the drone really let me think, man. Perhaps this thing is looking right with that weird ass angle on it, because when you look at it this way, it starts to look square again.
They seem to want him to stay so much in a neutralist position that he can mediate between the two sides, but in the process he's being crushed out of existence. And if there's any
Not there. but over here and at the right angle. So, Jesus, that's a right square, right?
By sort of asking the French what they want to do, after all, it's just their policy to be followed. French policy, so that is their.
If I got the stop line proper there, I wonder? Is she proper stop on the stop line? Does GK see that?
If Savannah gets in trouble, we've got to give him help. And then build on that. So what is the French proposal?
Yeah.
There's none.
The rear wheels, right, are in advance, or up above them. So this could even go farther forward, probably, or this line needs to change. I'd say it's that line.
Attitude. Also, at some stage, to help us get the king involved in this business, get that military mission actually in a more effective and aggressive fashion, and help us put pressure on the. See, they've got a mission in Hanoi, for example, and help us bring pressure there on Moscow and Hanoi. And this is a lot of things they can do if they really put their backs in a bit more. Now, then, when Governor Harron leave, might well to get the reaction.
I really only need, I could put road marks on for this part of the road. It would do me a big favor for marks, for making sure I know where people are in space. It looks really good to me too. I got it made nice bright white so it shows up even from a distance. And I can make that more see-through or not, depending. So it's its own like white paint material. Does it show up? Well, it does show up in wireframe too. It's better in shaded. Especially when there's nothing on it. Especially when it's clear. So the bus needs to be updated. Bus is not bad for motion, it's terrible for location. A single coordinate change. Definitely make me feel better. Ford didn't come that close to getting hit. Angle inside southwest is slightly less, yeah, than the opposite, yeah. I kind of got that. You mean this one's got to be more level than what that one above would be? Yes. Okay. They're not perfectly parallel in all dimensions. I get it. I think. I took some extra time to actually roll it around a bit and get more of a sense, because there should be a line right along the edge of the curve. So I can even roll that back this way maybe a little bit. But that line shouldn't be the same as that line. Buses. Don't need to see the buses on the or the bus on the on the image right now. I only need to see the curve. Only interested in one curve, the one on the Y. So all of its control points on Y are what I want. If I hit L, I get all the link ones. Would the bus pull into the bus stop, into the curve there, and then pull in and out? It stayed on the road, though.
What would be our attitude if the British proposed to go along with Cairo? Yeah, I think this is very likely move on their part.
First is based on ones I identified? Cool. I'm wondering if that's going to... Hang on. That seems a little long. First estimate is, based on lat longitude, 139. That's long enough. I think you got the other. I think you got the other corner. I think you got the round corner. But it's close.
You think we're better off if from the Harem goes to Moscow?
Turn that off for a second.
Get it out of
Duplicate it.
better if the British don't go with it.
Roll it.
Get more out of the British if we, I mean, out of the Russians if we look like we make a lot of military preparation.
Well, I think the ideal thing would be.
I think that's going to be
to make sure
back corner all the way up.
I know it, but not the public.
It's closer to it.
I don't know how far what we can do.
Yeah, some sanctions, don't you? Otherwise,
See what I mean? It's closer to that one.
is this enough? Is this action? Is this one carry?
It's really close to that one.
There would be a number of
Kind of thought it might be. I was looking for the half that's in line with this part. Well, that's okay. Same difference. That's really close, none, I think.
general area that you would prefer. Not like too deeply.
You can see the difference in the two maps. I'm going to call this one none.
Place south of Tainan.
But I would worry. I would wonder about whether we should send those vessels into the Gulf of Tonkin, say, substantially north of the demarcation line for another 2 or 3 days. They can get underway.
Or your northwest diagonal to southeast.
Well, it'll be 48 hours before they're off their 24.
139, you mean there to there?
24 more to approach point, maybe 200 miles.
You sure it's on the building and not on the block?
So that we might find ourselves in a position where we are threatening an action that isn't taken. And this could be harmful rather than helpful.
Northwest corner diagonal to southeast.
Visible by air flights.
Well, why don't we wait on that? I mean, is it visible over the mainland?
We're going to at least have
Why don't we wait on that? I think we can get it out.
It's quite a bit of overlap. I mean, I thought I was showing it here. I mean this one. That corner. To that corner. I'm looking for the longest measurement I can get other than a straight. This parallel might be good too, but that wall to that wall. Or the next best one is the length of the old rail station from like along the back corners. That's close to 100 meters, I think. But the differences in scales now are starting to look different. Like, for example, the measurement Nun just gave me looks really good if I consider it from the corner of the block. Not from the building. Like, it looks big enough to take the blocking, you know, that distance. Yeah, the length on the back wall, the wall that's facing, like I guess the train platform would have been there.
at the present moment simply to plan horses.
Is it a decision that we will do that or that we will plan for that?
But if this is the case, then I got to scale this up again.
We should work it out detail now rather than shortages.
Now, would we ask the ties whether...
David's length was this one. Like, he came in close to where I wanted it.
I would not think until we get...
That one, not so much.
We might want to move very fast after that. Now, is there anything we could do if we decide, as I understand, we're hopeful these prisoners might get out the 22nd of this
Monday morning.
Monday morning. Rather than going this weekend,
They're gone.
Did I just get another ruler there out of nowhere?
But it's not a commitment.
I did.
He talked with Vallejo this afternoon.
Let me make a quick measurement here on the train station too while we're waiting.
Monday morning, they were going to move them from the Isle of Pines over to Havana today.
Look for the right angle.
Pretext for the call was that he was
Estimate the halfway.
making arrangements to report
If I remember right, it's like 96.
everything was set for that end.
That's what I think it is. That doesn't mean anything. I shouldn't say it aloud. the heck is this? Double check northwest to southeast coordinate indicate as well. It is. Could we try either one of the west corners, which are to the north, not the rears, not the one that's not on a right angle. I only want the ones that are implied by right angles. So where the access ramp comes up, that half of the building, the northern half. And if I allow for the rotation of the map, hang on. Shoot. Wrong key here. Wrong window. If I allow for the northern half of the map, like I know that I've rotated a number of degrees here, so I could go like maybe 1 or 2 there to get actual rotation. I'm aiming for this one. That corner to that corner. That I'd agree with you. If that's road surface to road surface, then we're in agreement. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Or someone turned on the hair dryer. Jackie, can you do your hair later? Sorry. Air Force One decided to check in. It's the Marine chopper. It's the Sea King. Oh, it's housekeeping. It's a vacuum cleaner. Like right in the middle of the meeting, she comes in like vacuuming between things. Don't put your feet up on the like on the wooden stuff. This is over a number of days in late April. Also, that may not all be one long meeting. Sounds like we're just getting ready to get into number 2. If I had any indication what was coming up, that would be better. Would probably be better. So the bus looks like it's doing good again. I think that's got the bus put to rights. Because I only did it from about that point and estimated its speed curve. They're off the crosswalk. So its apparent length might be a little too long, making the apparent speed a little bit too slow. But I think that looks pretty good. Ford definitely decides to cross.
Library, President's Office Files, Presidential Recordings Collection, Tape 82, Reel 2. 36 seconds of this tape have been excised for reasons of national security. The 2 excisions have been indicated. For additional information, see recording log number 82.
It was the end of the tape. Maybe that was it. At the end of the tape, the degradation is the worst. I guess there's some kind of magnetic powder. So what we're hearing is the actual head passing over the tape. Is what you mean? That long? Or tape passing over the head. So probably on archive.org. Check archive. Can't go wrong with archive.org. That's the way I find it. Their Apollo stuff's even better. They got all their Apollo stuff on VHS tape, I think. They had all transferred. So they're rarely this bad. Richard Nixon going through dressed up like a housemaid and waving a magnet everywhere.
Does the department think there's any virtue in holding up a démarche to Khrushchev on the disarmament?
Watergate joke, yeah. He's dressed like a housemaid, is that what you mean?
I would not think so. It's suspected that they're Khrushchev's back in town. They're having out of leading they're probably looking at a number of these
Jeez.
things altogether.
That was weird too.
They're
The
on
only question is that we've been planning to reach an automatic council on that day.
Well, we wouldn't unless there's
But we won't unless there is one.
unless there was some fact that
Match that with a House briefing, should we not? So not to get
I'm reading the document, Council, about the letter to Khrushchev on the testing. Would you be announcing it?
theory would be it would be private, but the theory has been that after they call on Khrushchev, the subject of the call would be announced, isn't that?
that's correct.
If we very hard that we have delivered a message, or they have discussed the two ambassadors on instructions of their governments to discuss the matter. And we get
Actually, it's the blue Suburban next. Were they all destroyed? Are you sure?
People wondering what's in it.
Or was it only parts of them?
See, the British would almost certainly.
British are very eager to tell the Commons that they've done this.
This is part of the genius of Kennedy. Kennedy was the one who actually put the executive order in place to put these recorders in there, right? So,
And of course, this is one of the points that Governor Harriman was making. We're not
were they entirely destroyed?
These are going to blow up. Then you might as well not have any comment by any kind of petroleum,
That's what I mean. I think archive does have some, whatever's existing at least should be there.
This is much more.
Almost as interesting as the stuff I want to hear. A large number of seconds excised from this one. Retroactively masked. I wonder if excise means not just like not only masked but properly removed forever.
First reaction was,
Okay, well now we're putting out about this meeting, announce this meeting.
This meeting is public, Mr. President.
Out loud.
And it's background is not loud.
Okay, well now we go around and find out what it is you agreed to do. Press, background, wave.
I would follow Polish on that script.
That's the heart of the man.
Sure thing, Dave. David, it's good to have you again. I'll check my email again tonight and look over any links you've sent along.
Well, he's going to London. Paris, all right.
no, Paris. I'm sure it should be in Paris first. I think tomorrow's Sunday. I better go tomorrow.
Immediately after.
Keep listening for Kissinger. I don't hear him. Shouldn't really.
I think those would be the immediate ones. But
Do you want to have call another meeting first of the week?
yes, I think
HB and HF, man. David, HB, hurry back, and HF, have fun, if possible.
What is your orders for this task force sale? Monday, two weeks time in the afternoon, which is tomorrow.
here's the water
South of, yeah, well, as the Secretary suggested, not to come off the demarcation line.
Do you want to let nature take its course on the news of that, or do you want to arrange it a little bit?
Like I said, we want to handle it without public notice.
So he's going to be out in the street more for all of those.
I think that the fact that the vessels are departing soon, they will be reported to us. We'll be clear by the
We don't want any discussion in Washington.
But if they break the time, that's why we'll only be responsible for questions.
All right, as quick as we can get it out.
Oh, we can do it earlier now, Mr. President.
We can do it.
Secretary of State prefer to see it delayed.
Sorry, I couldn't help myself there.
Call people back for the Sunday time.
Where's the beef, man? Where's the beef?
Whatever, not as it's underdone.
Show me the bird.
We're not trying to suggest more than an exercise, are we? I think
We call it an exercise, we actually call it back.
Call it back, call it an exercise. Well, the only point of time, if we have in front of us now a Russian reply to Barnio, then I think we would have the answer to that question more clearly. But if the Russians are coming back with a constructive reply, then I don't think we want to precede that time.
Well, let us do this. Let us issue orders to sail tomorrow afternoon and change those orders in the meantime if you feel it's desired.
Slight alterations in my path, I think, will be all that's necessary. This will be one of them. Make sure he gets around vehicles he's walking by. But he'll be around them. And then he'll be looking in at that one. This is one of these excisions, maybe? Or did Just an end of a tape.
By regular law,
Dang!
it is questionable whether either side intends
His
to
rotation
abide
curve
by
goes
the truce.
left and right, left and all over the place.
Conley is feeling bullish again and apparently would like to recoup some of his losses.
Let's now listen to the music in the background. You need, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Did you hear that? I heard it. I'm going back in 3-second increments. After this. I don't know if I'd call it Baroque or early Baroque. Fair medieval music. I don't hear a drum. I don't hear a lute, but I damn well hear the flutes. Dum, 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 dum. Your chalice, my lord. The flagon. Where is the flagon?
By regular law, under the patent, it is questionable whether either side intends to abide by the truce this time.
Is somebody's cell phone going off? No. What could that be? What could that be? Is it Camelot? My God. Another reason that I'm looking for specific stuff here. Parking garage, different diagonal, left to right. 127. 127 meters. That would be closer to what I got. I think. Still using long and lat. Yeah, I think that would be the thing. Or you're using long and lat to get them? That's a good idea. Takes a little longer to do it that way. That's for darn sure. But I'm going to make a duplicate of your first estimate. Move it to one side and make it explicitly 127 meters. Gosh, that looks a little closer. If I try either of those two diagonals against that one, I think it'll match. Oh. Excuse me. I can't help but chuckle or laugh every now and again, and I'm not necessarily laughing at anything. I'm not laughing at anything right now. I think that was actually the funniest thing I've said so far. There's somebody's cell phone going off, because that's the kind of thing I'd have for a cell phone ringtone. Seriously.
Anti-law forces also appear to be regrouping and maneuvering for possible further attacks. A force of undetermined size is advancing northwest from Fong-Saban in an apparent move to isolate Conley.
We're getting not raw intelligence reports. How do we call this? This is not the stuff that's necessarily going to the news agencies first. It's going to the presidential desk first, and then filtering back to news agencies. Maybe. Or is it?
From his armor reserve, located farther north in the Ban Song area. Savannah Fong and his talk yesterday with Savannah Puma at Kankai played the injured part skillfully. Decided to intercept.
No. Allow me to check your estimate.
Awareness of Fumi's collusion with the neutral. Connolly's attack plan.
Seeing as it was me and you talking about scale mapping early on and along the way, I shall rotate and confirm that indeed it is around 127 meters. At least that's what I think. Close enough to it that I can. I also think the value is. It's the one underneath there, David C. 128.29 from David. And his was a little too long, so yeah, yours is tighter again.
Information Minister Fumi Wongchek, Patay Lao, Secretary of State for Economy and Plans, has also good capital.
And I think that's pretty much what I've got it at. So my scale is sounding about right. If there's anything else that we could measure with more precision than that long, that single long line, I don't know what it would be. Think about what else is that flat for that long. Well, the last two confirm my suspicions. Let's put it that way.
Problem is that they will continue as long as Fumi keeps coming in with reinforcements. They'll continue to say that they're not going to agree with C5 because of the reinforcements. And they have reinforcements don't come in. Only position is almost hopeless. And they'll swallow him up. You see, they starved him out for a period of some weeks. No food, no pay for his troops.
I corrected first, and then asked for some more. Asked for some more questions, or like I asked for more data to double check. I'm getting good at sizing or like scaling it against the background image too, which is good.
The troops that are in the Xinjiang area, the same troops that were there when they were all enemies of the foreign government places. In terms of the pro-Western.
So if I can get to within a meter's precision, I can turn this off just to make it easier to see.
But what it is doing is preventing
There's David's estimate.
element in the Xinjiang area.
There's yours.
On the diplomatic
And meters
side,
makes it easier too, right?
we have not yet had
Because that's the unit I'm using.
reply to the
There might be about a quarter of a meter overlap on either side. Maybe a half at the most. That's great. We're talking a foot. We're talking a foot's difference. David's answer was in feet. David, I'll give you David's answer.
That would drop. The rest of the matter would probably be on balance a plus because it would put the Soviets in the public position of calling on all three sides of laws to get on with the Geneva Accords. Abraham was in Paris this morning. We'll be talking with the British tomorrow.
Yes, try the rail station. Try the back corner, like the back wall of the rail station. I'll point it out for sure so you know what I mean. That one. Try that line. There's a shadow on this bloody map. I'm going to turn the map off. And then turn line drawing on so you can see what I mean. That's the ruler, that's the line. So there's a little bit of angle implied by the ground, I guess. But otherwise, that wall line towards the back end of the building, the southerly part. Yeah, that's what I make it. Maybe a shade bigger, but not much. I think one map made it bigger than that, but only, I think it was 98 at the most. And that's probably measuring a platform. So that answers all my questions, like between me and you anyway. So if there's anybody else who wants to add in to the data set, we'll check against that one too. But I mean, find another data set is the question, right? You're using GPS loads? I gotta pause to ask this question. How are you getting GPS looks? From your own GPS, or are you just using Google Maps maybe? Because Google was the one that helped me cross-check against open Street Map. So many open deals, man. They're open everywhere. Open for business. So I can't see. I'm going to clear these keyframes on the Tundra, and I'm also going to make it invisible for a moment till it shows up. Yeah, Cities Map. I you know what? I've been meaning to do that too. Cities Map is the one I didn't check. I figured around 96 meters on the city map. That's the one I'm using for drawing right now, so I think the scale is good, so it should be around that. Great. Excellent. City map's good. City map lets you go anywhere and zooms in quite a bit. And then, like I was doing the other day, you can easily turn it on to a blend mode, or you can multiply the number to get the lines to pop out when you can't quite see them. Based on those calcs. The measures sit okay what I've seen in drone. Yeah, the funny thing I was looking at in the drone video was this. This looks like it's a square angle when it shouldn't. It's a forced perspective shot. It's a weird forced perspective shot which is catching, I guess, the rise of the run up the hill. If you look at it, the implied is gaining a foot from there to there. So that's why that weird angle when we look at it orthographic. Doesn't show up in perspective yet because I haven't mapped it in 3D space either. But in perspective, I can already get a sense of how it might look from like certain views, including like if I could, well, maybe a bit higher than that and back a bit. But there are places where you get a right angle where there is none. You just get a sense of one. It's to do with the rise, about a foot's rise in space. To explain why those two are offset as they are. The line of the road's pretty much the same. There's extra area over here for camber, for runoff and stuff, but it's up a hill. The water's going this way. Water's going right down there and off the road down there. There's a huge storm grill over here. Orthographic is probably correct due to undulation and mismatch. Yeah, that's right. I think the orthographic's getting it correct. If I follow the lines as they occur in the video, then it implies that the connections between any of these are the width of the line. Any squaring that seems that appears in the drone must be due to that. I'll turn the camera back on. I'm back. I've been back for a while. I'll go video sequencer down here at the strip view. It's this drone I want. This is the weirdest thing because of the perspective. Look at the angle. How do you get a square angle out of that? That looks proper square from here, but it ain't. It's running up a hill. And it's the perspective of the drone's angle on that particular shot which gives it the feeling of being square, but you can tell it's not staying square. If we were to see the last line, it would throw it off. Entirely a trick of the angle which they've picked. How you frame it right. Look at that. The line there, and the line against the building. It isn't orthographic perspective, but it should still hold true that this is square with that. And therefore that too, but it ain't. I've been moving that back a little bit too. I think I got it where it should be. I'm going to put a stop sign in. So the line is in reverse, like lines behind the line where the stop sign is. And stop sign is pretty much centered on the grill. I'm not putting that in. Be nice to have the sign marked though, because frequently that's being pointed at. I mean, before a crowd confuses. Stands to reason that these lines are in perspective, right? At least my reason. Not perfect, but so they're converging a bit this way. Why aren't they there? They should be converging this way too. They're diverging. Yes. I hand placed them to get the left-right spacing and use the double line. I could have cut up a plane several times and just deleted the middle sections, but I made one first to where I thought it might be about right, 2 meters one way and about a half meter, 75 centimeters that way. You double it up, you get 1.5 meters for every double stripe, like a on off on off on off. Yeah, it's pretty close to. We knew the width of the street here. Myself and Little Apple were talking about what's the absolute distance between here. And without the road camber, you can see the road's got a bend on it to allow for runoff. So water goes to the grates. And it's going downhill here, so it's funneling water here. Yeah. It is how they lay down the marks. They just cover, I mean, you lay down something and spray over it, and then you take those up after. So these happen to be the same distance as whatever the framing is. You can see the patch here that they've taken up. Must be like 1.5 yards maybe. I don't know. That covers up the last two, but she's definitely touching 3, 4, and 5 from 2 angles. Well, not this angle, but from Ford and from GK. So I marked them in there. Simple stuff, really. I kind of like it. Oh man, that contour map makes a big difference to understanding why it should be that way in orthographic. Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure in the GK clip just below it there. Have I got GK enabled yet? Well, he hasn't started yet. Just watch. Me and Little Apple were talking about the locates. Because they're all over the place. CVL. Floodline. 6-foot floodline. I think. Kind of on the higher part too. We're at the fisheye throws this off and it's in the road. No worries, none. Little Apple, man, he certainly made me double check my work. And he made me go smaller before I went bigger. Which is good. So now the numbers might even be close to accurate in Blender. I can lock all this down when I make it available. I'll make it available at the end as a Blender file too. So there's utilities across and parallel on where the park line is. There's a park space right behind it, and then there's the 10 meters after. Okay. I'm thinking this line must be parallel. Or close, maybe not. This is another 10 meters, maybe. Now this stretched out with the fisheye. Fisheye is the most deceptive thing in the world. No worries, none. Anybody else is sticking around though? I'm here. I'm merely listening to some audio.
To provide end items under the military assistance program. Now, I think it's unlikely that Savannah Poon himself personally knows that each element of supply that has gone in.
Does the X line up with the little space on the west side of 4th? I think the X on the behind where the Tundra will be parked, I think that's another 10 meter space. Not from GK, but from other video. Ford gets a good look at it. It's like there's a full-size space left behind another left behind his space. But there's reasons for it. I thought earlier the Tundra was next to this pole, but it ain't. It's in advance of the line here, unless he moves up the hill or moves down the hill after. Hey, David. So does it line up with the little space on the west side of 4th? I think this one is a double long, or at least not double long, but it's as long as a regular parking spot to prevent someone taking a regular parking spot there. That's the X. And there's a door there, and there's this pole here, so there's probably reasons for it. No parking sign. No, that's a business sign. Loading zone sign. It's a LZ. Maybe it's pure LZ to get into the bottom of the building. I also had a real good look at how this building must be dug into the hill. There must be a fairly big basement underneath Gilmore Furniture. These are stretched out of perspective because of the fisheye. But still, we know that there's clearly 3 floors and probably a basement. Like an understorage facility. And the damn thing goes up like street level above 2 above the top, right? Excuse me. Halfway up the hill. Getting there. I'm a prince. I don't know if a prince. I ain't a prince. I ain't a king. Although I've often had the crown thrown at me. I'm like, nah, don't give me that thing. I had enough of the monarchs. Once clear of them. Safe travels indeed. Keep your eyes on the road, not on the GPS unit, please. That little parking space haunts you. The one that's at the top part of the road, I think I know what you mean. I'll look at Ford again and make sure I got the right idea about the size of that. I've also looked at it from Google Maps. That's as close to it as I've come. From street view and from above. At satellite view. To get a good idea of how wide it is. I think that's a full-size space behind the Tundra. So I might have to have the gray car farther down the hill a little. And I've got a guide already made up. I haven't made this one as white lines onto an attached map. No, this is not a ruler. Free floating ruler. I think the Tundra is parked there when he gets there. And I think the X begins here and goes up to the loading zone here. About 10 meters. How big is the X right now? It's only 7.5. Or how big is this particular ruler? I'm going to duplicate it, put it up, make that one 10. So what I'm saying is Tundra plus its area for parking. Look where that lines up with a 10 meter space. So what you mean little X, I see loading zone. Big enough for 2 vehicles. One here, get in and out. Does that sound about right to you, None? And that puts a spot for the Tundra right there. Woo-hoo-hoo! I've been thinking. I'm used to thinking about those LZ signs too, because I was a courier for a while. Everywhere you see those little LZ signs, they're real important. Yeah, there's a car and the tiny one on the side. Over here? Like back here? Or up farther? There's another one on, the 5th Street. Ooh, what am I using? Small car over here too, which is on Ford's camera. I could take an estimate from that one. Not in an LZ, but there's another one next to it, I think. But this fits my estimate of what this had to be, about a 10-meter space to allow for that and that for loading zone spot. Like, and it's a one-way street, so sometimes people want to go parallel, sometimes they want to pull in. Subcompact car over here. Ooh, west side of 4th you have in brown. Yep. I could turn the map off just to make this easier to see. That's mall part, like considered mall brick for me, but yeah. So this is roadside space. There's actually enough for a car to pull there. The minivan could stop there and still leave a room for someone to get in and out of here. Pull tight to that line, and the Tundra is right immediately in front of it. Parking space and stairway up here? Or is this another area for... Because it looks like a full-on... Where's that? That would be Ford, I think. Après Axi. April. Maybe I'm too far down, too far up. There's the end. Yeah, he's turning to the side as he passes the corner. Ford. Parking spot. Another area for the thing. Ooh. Ford's camera's not a fisheye. But that's the Tundra and that's the space. There's a window in between it. The door's to that side of the door of that, because that's the end of the X. Yeah. This building is kind of like the railway station shape. Just look again. See how there's this peak at the top? Ahead of the pole? Like downhill. The Gilmore building. It used to be the Gilmore Furniture building. That's the best way I could put it. This tells me to... Okay, that's the alleyway. There's another parking spot beyond Tundra. And that's a little X. This tells me that X is as big as a parking space. It's big enough to let a car there. 5 meters at least. I think I've allowed for too much space uphill, so now I got to move the other vehicles downhill. That one included. I'm not going to follow the shadow line, although it's tempting. The shadow, if it stretches right across there, might be marking close to the perpendicular. This one does. But that stays to this side of the line. Full-size parking space. I could count sidewalk bricks there too. Which I don't like doing. So the boxes and stuff on the corner. There's the removable barriers. Those are removable there. Not that one. Where are you, Tundra? That should probably be farther down the hill. This being gray Toyota. This one's going down the hill too. I locked everything down about it. Scale doesn't matter. Rotation doesn't matter. I only need to change the Y value. I'd like to see the truck while I'm doing it though. I'll use that against the curb. Thinking that it's going to be down that far. Considering where he's pointing. I already done this once. Everything else has been scaled. That should hold true. Lock them down. Hide the Tundra. Well, I don't need to hide the Tundra right now because it's in the shot. Is it really close to a parking spot? We're not in one. This should be closer to 5 meters. Would explain why I see like most of the X in the shot. But he still needs to come up a bit. I don't know. That's right. She's well clear of that friggin' line. Because his wheels is touching it, and then allow for a certain amount of coincidence. That's wrong. I'll fix that shortly. Gray SUV. Controller. Come here. No, I don't need that one. I want this to be graph again. Come here jokes. I was never one for Mortal Kombat. Never. I never didn't play it at all. Didn't get good at it. Did play it enough to hear Scorpion say, "Come here," and that's all. The rest, as they say, is history. So during these initial moments, gray SUV now needs to be down the hill a little farther. That's all. About 2 feet off the line, front bumper. Off the forward line or the back line? Front bumper, forward bumper. Yep. 2 feet, so less than a meter. Thank you. I think I'd agree with that from various footage. That would be pretty much what I was thinking. Grab Y, and I need to do this real careful, like. I think he's pretty much flush in the middle of his line, like that. And he's about 2 feet off the line, which is the same line here. That's only 1 meter downhill from there. 2 feet's 0.6. That's at negative 97. Grab Y and holding shift. That's close to 2 feet. Puts him north of the, or puts him ahead of this line, which is where I want him, although I think the X is kind of like that, so that shaded, it's well in the shade of what the van or the truck is casting. Tight parallel parking. He has to get past her too, and he does. Takes him a while to get past her. Do I subject you to the rest of the Kennedy tapes? Not right away. Needle and vinyl. I like that one. That's a good little clip, that one. Yeah, I'm going to give a track or two to bearing. Dang. 119. Ooh, I don't want to stop the tape. See, ooh. Gotta make a note before I do anything. 119. I'm not listening carefully to the Kennedy tape, but I'm gonna make sure I don't lose my place before I resume, because I am listening. I'm picking some tracks from another YouTuber. It's bearing. I like bearing. Sometimes. Other times I think, ooh, I don't know. A little quick there, Bear. This album was pretty good.
See ya, how you been? Your show started by now. I think I'll settle in.
Won't be long.
No hesitation since you're stuck in high, and now my interest is thin. Continue on, let me hear the part. Conviction strong, when all race you start. Step closer to me, make sure I can see you're the authority on any task. I'm listening. Tell me about your troubles and all the things that irritate you. I'm looking forward, I can't wait to hear all about your chips and how your shoulders are breaking. 'Cause my life lacks that joy and thrill of your grievances. Well, listening is a skill. Words are hazardous, loudmouth and iron-willed. A dim simplicity dictates that I'm still listening. I've been here speculation peaked where you almost choked on your drink. Well, I've been here too long, listening to you dribble along. I'm listening, so please go on. I've been here too long, catching bullshit that you've thrown. I'm listening, so please go on. In speculation's name, we'll lay our own unrest.
Save that one for later. That's what I think. Save that guy for later. Especially if I can make it quick. Dog Eyes the P. I'm excited about tomorrow. Going with the grandkids? Hey. Now, lucky you. I gotta tell you, I haven't got grandkids yet. But I suppose the day might be coming.
Presidential Recordings Collection.
Once upon a, one of these days. Up to 119 were we? I'll go back in time a little. For the time we resume. Ooh. Only been live for a few hours. I'm off break. Not break. Currently not listening to Bearing either. J.F. Kennedy. White House tapes. Tape 82 in description. That's better. Doesn't matter so much if you see the detail on the bottom window, I think. Turned 58 in about an hour. Wow. Okay. Okay. I can that allows me to temporarily locate you. Like properly locate you. You would have been ready to graduate high school time I was born. Or out of high school for a while, and you missed Vietnam by what, that much? You didn't miss it. You got to see it on TV. Old fartage. I don't know about old. You're in my parents' generation. Definitely in my parents' generation. And then I say only just. You missed Gen X by what? You missed Gen X by about a decade's worth of pop bands. It was on the news every night, I bet. Especially late in the game.
But so far as we know, the other side has not made a major issue out of it. On the ammunition resupply, there have been a few.
Cable was like,
Undetected cases of.
when I was growing up, cable became the known thing, but
But we've also been sending supplies into Congolese under a request we had from Savannah Pullman to provide end items under the military assistance program. Now, I think
it's unlikely that Savannah Plum himself personally knows of each element of supply that has gone in under that request. But we've been working with General Plum.
Okay, so what was I thinking to do here?
We are in position to
Got both of those updated.
request from Savannah Plum. On the air mail calculations, I think by and large those have been generally known in
Didn't have a color TV until it's 72.
aware of them.
I may do with a black and white until after 1990, but that was for my own bedroom type of TV, little small one. And we were still using aerials to get that reception in black and white. Cable was the going concern.
We've been entitled to support Savannah Plum. And Plumie and Savannah Plum together, I think, have been aware of most of the things that we've been doing. I think there are certain ones of these overflights that might give us some trouble if they were slowed down and let an issue off, but there's no answer. This is the problem.
How much of the mail is, how much of all this, yard of all this is due to his value of the mail statement?
Before we get too deep into the tape here, this is the graph of the motion of GK's camera in absolute direction. Doesn't matter if we much know what the exact numbers are. We can tell that after he keeps maintaining a direction for a while, it's close to 180, so it's south. He turns to his right. Turns back to his left, turns to his right. Left, right. Honestly, reads like a EKG up at the end. Different character of motion before and after, yes or no? There's an absolute time, like for, let me just show you here on this display. Ford Fisher is this length. GK is this length. Event is there. Look at the difference in the character of his motion. Not looking at his absolute, no change in his direct. We won't consider his XY location. We'll only look at his rotation, because that's his body direction. It's a body cam. There's a different character in his motion from then on. Maybe a little bit at the end it gets a little more anxious, shall we say. But before that, not so much. And this is when he's making his way back, I guess, north. Some of these positions actually had to be updated. The angles won't have to be updated too much, because I've been pointing them at specific locations. Some of the time I'll be using the angle to determine where I should be placing them to get that right. I got the angle right. I need to get the location right. Might be looking for someone. He might be. That's true. He doesn't specifically mention he was going to link up with anybody to the guy he talks to. But from around the time the prey gets to him and passes him, Faith Goldie right there. So she's embedded in the crowd and she's working her way into it. But she still isn't quite at the place where this starts holding up. Back in time, Faith's on face cam when she passes him. I get into it a little bit more, we can see his motion again. Watch. Passes the line of the camera, off camera now, like, she's only there for a few seconds. She's closer to him than that, too. She should be farther south. She's on this side of the road, like, she's on this lane. She should be way farther south than that. Anyhow, after she does her little flip around to show what's happening, she's on his shoulder line for him. She's off. All he has to do is turn his head. The camera won't necessarily show it. As soon as the camera comes near him, in other words, she's somewhere up around there. I think I got the location for that one close. Because she's close enough to get like some decent angles on the van that's parked. That might be farther up the road here too. No, that's about right. No joke. It's the moment that it happens. He's moving too a little bit. He gets in beyond a few people. So I really do need to update all of these keyframes to be sure. But if we didn't need any other, I wouldn't need to do this in 3D to actually show something there, I think. That's pretty, seems pretty good. Draw your attention to the fact that she's where she is in relation to his body, so when he's close to her. Like, she's on his shoulder line and probably getting closer to him, right? He knows where she is. She doesn't switch views there. She swings around once. She swings around once really, really quickly. From here to here. Faith Goldie live stream right here. This is why I like this. This is why I really like the opportunity to be able to look at more than one angle at once. The smaller tree is where he is, I think. I don't think that's him. There's a larger tree. Maybe he's on that small one. Or that's the larger one. I think that was him. That close? I thought he was farther up than that, but maybe. If not there, there's another little tree here, right? I'd say it's the first one. Hat on the head, as close as I can come to it. That one with the brim. Dark shirt. A lot of green hats around him. Green hat's just passing the second or two before. Don't need Ford. There's that other tree I was looking at. That's the one Faith looks at farther up the street. So yeah, it's the smaller one near us. In behind here. Maybe I didn't get him right. If he's there, he's not moving. This guy's moving. So he's in behind here somewhere. That guy could be there. I'm not too content calling that one there. But that guy and that guy are close. Because they're red. I don't see any green hats whatsoever. Now maybe I got the sync off. So let's see what else we can see a few seconds before with GK. See whether or not I got the timing off. Maybe I got the timing off on one or the other. Wouldn't think it's on GK, I think it was probably on Faith, but it shouldn't be too bad. Should be pretty close to the same moment in space and time. See what's going to pass by before this sweep occurs so we can perhaps try to pick off some of the hats again. These green hats should be more evident, but they don't seem to be. They've passed by earlier. 2 or 3 people all in black, sometimes wearing sunglasses, but black hat. It's going to be behind this line of people. Ones carrying red flags are oncoming to GK's point of view. So they should be passing in frame. Got the guy off to the left frame for GK who's wearing a red bandana around his neck. He's currently cut off by Faith's camera. Faith's camera, not face. Guy in the back waving should be visible. Guy in the front, if Faith not helping. But it can't be to this side of there. And GK doesn't go much farther than that. He's in the inside of here and moving in. Which side of the guy in blue does he go? He takes the outside. Faith's already passed though. She's still spinning. She doesn't go around again. Not all the way. She's working in. She's into the dark now. Right. This is as far as I've tracked her. So there's another oncoming camera guy too. At the same moment in time as all that occurs, but if you wanted to make sure you didn't get caught on camera, He's awfully well aware of where Faith is. Pink sign, black dress. White sign, get out of town. Get out of my town. Yeah, camera girl. Ah, I've got the gray one too far back. No, I don't. No, I got it right. I got it right. Back that up again. He takes a look over. Faith does the sweep from about here. So we were just watching what... We just literally saw what passes in front of GK. So as she sweeps around, we should be seeing some of this. Perhaps. If they hold their signs up. But in that angle, they might not. Some red and black flags are passed already. They can't get up as far as she is? No, they must. There are flags and signs here. Now, of course, the other thing to do is to go back in time and definitely locate the position for GK again. However, I counted the number of steps to get this. Starting from here. 1, 2, well, try it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I'm looking in the wrong place. Ha 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 ha. And we also have this here. So this is the van she gets to. He's almost, well, he's getting close to level with this vehicle across the street. Following the line. Pediatric doctor's footage from nearing the marchers. Hey Dolly, welcome back. Get a headache watching her videos. Is that Faith? This looks like a small X that way. Is she the one wearing the acoustic guitar? That might be. Yes, I think it's I heard someone say that the other day. That was the link that David sent me in the email. The one with the guitar. So here we see he's before this planter, before the big tree. Sort of level with the X across the street with that maybe. This might even, well, he got to be ahead of his line. His shoulders are off that way. Center there. It doesn't help anyone. A little indication.
I would think it was intent of the party law-oriented neutralists to take over the neutralist faction, and this has caused a split. The same, the Colonel Duan in the Flanders area was doing on the military side exactly what Kaneem had been doing on the political side down in Banjo. And they were clearly in cahoots with each other.
I was just going to say that in a very real sense, I think that what's happened here is that things have gotten a little out of hand. Kaneem went too far when he had Kitsan assassinated, and that this has escalated beyond what the communists intended. They didn't intend to go this far.
You think so? Why not?
I think they were going to concentrate on harassing Congolese
Rainbow Medic Nurse.
supplies by certain kinds of assassinations, and by Kaneem's activity.
Rainbow Medic Nurse. Well, we kind of do get the sense that he arrives on some kind of scene. He doesn't have audio enabled, so he doesn't intend to. He doesn't want to inadvertently distress anybody, I guess. I don't know. It's funny though, because by the time that that's happening, it's clear that he's already in the front part of the scene. The stage shots, yeah. Funny, right? Is his name Rainbow Medic or is his name Henry Rollins? Never mind, never mind. Kind of look like Henry Rollins to me. Like, what the hell? Discount Henry Rollins? Find perhaps is a very useful word. Very, 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 very useful word. I'm going to say that the car is no more than 4.8 long. It's not beige van parked, but it's going to be silver car. I don't need to know the exact measurements on it. Only that it's parked with its line to the front of that building. Black Flag I saw in Seaville in '85. He looks, maybe he's a little too young for Henry Rollins now. I don't know. It was mere speculation in the first place. I didn't think it was actually Henry Rollins. It's just something about the chin. Controller for a silver car. Or something. This one needs a material assignment. Let's give it one. White, silver, what is it? It looks pretty silver to me when it's side on. The glare from the sunshine's making it look a lot of colors, but yeah. Not white, but silver. I merely mean white because I mean that color. Probably not as wide as the other one either. What'd you think? Maybe 1.8 on that one. There looks to be about a 4 or 5 meter space between them. Maybe not even that much. With a little X. Not too worried about that. Don't want to inadvertently select that one either. This one, We'll see it but can't select it. I'd say these are too long. If that's 7 meters, I'd be surprised. Reason I'm doing this is because I intend to double another one and overlay it that way. Get a sense if there's another parking space up behind it. So I'm going to use that for my line. We see whether traffic's tending to this side even if there's nothing in the parking spaces, because something might be parked there. Rollins, DK's, Husker Du, Gang of Four. Front of it, actually films had earlier in front of cafe. Yeah, they tore down the club where the parking garage has had a lot of great shows. Ah. Ha-ha. Keep waiting for more news, not so much news, but stories about Henry Rollins to emerge. Don't ask me why. It's one of those things. A suspicion. Well, hey, hello. One of them clearly got its reverse lights on at this moment in time, as well as braking. Don't see him pull up there. It's wild, since he's braking or reversing. So he's presumably been there since... here we go. Turned around. And up at the entrance to the parking lot. It's in front of it a little bit, because it's out in the road behind that guy. But other... So a lane for traffic, then a lane for traffic. And a lane for parking in. Lane for traffic was touching 1, 2, 3 lines in on this side. And then it implied double lane on this side. I think it's on the 4th line or 3rd line again on the inside here. Something like that. It's like right in here. I might lay down some yellow lines on there too. Yellow lines wouldn't hurt. Could curve them as much or as little as needed. I'm wondering if it was, I think it might have been on a Joe Rogan podcast last time I heard Rollins speak about anything. I think it was Joe Rogan had him on, and he talked for 2-3 hours. He was one of the longer ones. But he had a certain pattern about the way that he went about telling the story too. Like he's got a certain way of telling his kind of story. So not necessarily a criticism of the man at all. I merely mean to say he's got ideas. I got the rotations a little bit wrong there, but now if that's the case, is that where the drone says she stops? Yes. Then sometime between then and Ford reaching her, she rolls forward. Buddy might have asked her, hey, get it away. Or go over far enough so I can get out. GK is fair rolling right now, so hey, we go back on Ford for a second. This body's parking right now on water, passing. That's the size of the X I figured more or less on 4th Street as well. I think that would be another close approximation for the size of the parking spot. Or not parking spot. What's there, a plug or something behind there? Another alleyway? Gonna get my controller here again. Ooh, for GK. So here's my double check. There's the area don't park in frame. The empty spot in front for where the Tundra would go. Checking time and motion. I haven't done any alterations on GK other than there's just a few spots where he might have to go a little bit farther south, say like there, but even so he picks it up here. Does he make it far enough west? Well, he should, because he's got that car across the street. Right on the center of his line for that shot. So sometimes right on the center of the line, sometimes left on the center of the line. Gray SUV leaves, according to Rebel. Oh, heard the computer kick into high gear there. Something's going down. What's going down? Police blocking 4th Street. Title, 4th Street partially blocked. Police. YouTube can't link it. Okay. Huh. It was definitively blocked by police. He could still have gotten through a parking lot, even if it had been blocked. Although why the heck he didn't drive up the mall, I don't know. Even as a white sedan blocking 5th Street entry. Does it? Here you mean? Yes, and I was just thinking about resetting for my lunch break and setting up a stream for after the after hours here. You know, best thing about falling back is it Rutley or Ratley? Blocking 5th from entry north side of Market. I'll take a look at that. Oh, hang on now. Can we place the timing of the event? Because I tell you why. I also heard that someone told me, I don't know who now, said that there was a barricade erected or there was some kind of roadblock put up but then removed at a later point because there was the state of emergency, was due to the emergency plan. They removed it when the protesters were walking there, thus allowing the car to go down after. Is that what you mean? The UTR ones required it moved, so they moved it for the UTR, and then well, what happened, right? Something caused why they were blocking 4th. I would very much like to see such a video. Cool. Thank you, Dolly and David. And be back in a short while. I'll do it the right way around. While. We'll get back into the Kennedy tapes later, but I've been listening to the one that's currently linked on the screen. There's a link in the description for the tape I've been listening to. I'll tell you now, I'm looking for another one. The police were physically blocking the UTR from leaving on 4? Or on... No, they went on 5th anyway. Let protesters through on Market at 4th. Yes, Main Street is blocked at 4th by cops. Let protesters through. So the question is, why weren't they manning the barricade? They should have been at Main too. Or why wasn't there a barricade? There was no plan to put a barricade in the inside. It was just going to be cops or something on the inside at Main. Alright, okay. I like the UTR bit too, because at least it almost depersonalizes them. Let them have the UTR designation long enough to get out of town before being called a Nazi and lynched. Alt-right, light-right, whatever. Alt-light I've heard it called, and dang. Faith. See, Faith is the weird one. Faith has definitely got a... It's on Cyborg's channel. Cool. Gotcha. I'll be watching. I gotta get grub. Fantastic, YouTube. Got one of my big answers today, I think, is that I'm probably got the right idea about these. Well, that's a heck of a long distance, and if it's satellite, I'd be very surprised because it's over Rise too. Thanks for watching. My name's James PFP. We're going to have another round of Banjocast after I get some food.